My life has been nothing short of a miracle. And I say that because I am utterly fascinated when somebody introduces me like a dancer or a dance instructor or a theater director. Coming from a middle class, moderately liberal family, um, this was especially dancing was a major concern for my parents. They were always worried, my dad especially, कि अरे इसकी शादी नहीं होगी, इसको लड़का नहीं मिलेगा, और बड़ी मुश्किल उनके लिए भी कैफियत थी कि ये क्या करना चाह रही है ज़िंदगी में. I remember बहुत very early on, I remember the first time I think I was reminded of this was when I was 5 years of age. So my family, एक phrase है जो बड़ा ही popular है हमारे घर में, proper woman. मेरी नानी बहुत जेन ऑस्टन पढ़ा करती थी, तो उनको बड़ा पसंद था कि सब proper होने चाहिए. तो आई रिमेंबर बड़ी जल्दी ही सब ने डिमांड करना शुरू कर दिया कि यू हैव टू स्टैंड अ सर्टन वे, यू हैव टू टॉक अ सर्टन वे, व्हेन यू एंटर अ रूम यू हैव टू बी अ सर्टन वे. एंड शी यूज्ड टू से टू मी कि बेटी जब आप हंसें तो आपकी हंसी की आवाज़ ना आए, बेटी जब आप चलें तो आपके चलने की आवाज़ ना आए, और जब आप एक महफिल से उठ के जाएं तो आप किसी को बता के भी गई हैं तब भी किसी को पता ना चले कि आपने वो महफिल छोड़ी है. And as a child, I did not want to do any of those things because the women that I saw, um, the women that I thought were proper in my eyes, वो उनमें से कोई काम नहीं करती थी. They weren't ready to do any of this. My nani was the loudest woman on the planet. इतना ऊंचा बोलती थी, उनके कहकहों की आवाज़ 7 मोहल्लों तक जाती थी. और मुझे मुझे बड़ा अजीब लगता था कि ये मुझे क्यों कहती हैं ऐसे. Why is she asking me to be silent or not laugh out loud? And एक दफ़ा मैंने पूछ भी लिया उनसे, बड़ी खफा हुई वो. And so I figured, this collision of thoughts, what it did for me was that I started questioning things at a very, very early age. I I I wanted to climb trees and break stuff like the boys, but I wasn't, हो नहीं रहा था वो हमारे यहाँ. And then when I went to school, I remember in my O levels, I joined this theater group in my school. My Ustad Huma, who is a brilliant woman, and her first ever lecture for me, or her first lesson for me, was कि ऊंची आवाज में अपना नाम चिल्लाओ. मुझसे तो कभी किसी ने मेरा नाम पूछा ही नहीं इतनी सारी जिंदगी में कि आपने कभी, हमने कन्विक्शन से अपना नाम, I wasn't allowed to say my name with that conviction. And she said, and I said it, I was very loud. I said, Fatima Amjad. And she said, no, say it like you mean it. Say your name like you mean it. And then she took me to a room. I remember there was a wall as big as this truss is here. And she said, now I want you to paint this entire wall with your name, with your voice. And this was the first time, ladies and gentlemen, my whole entire life, that I was asked to use my voice instead of, quieting it down. And in that moment, I knew कि यही करना है मैंने. And I was reading Queen Esther's little piece just this morning, and this one line that she says describes it the best. She says, if I perish, I perish. And I feel it's such a liberating line in itself. And that's how I feel about theater. That's how I feel about the stage. Because it gave me a voice. It gave my students a voice. After, doing all that theater in school, I went to college. My dad, again, was very wary of me joining all these drama societies and dance societies and whatnot. Dance ka to sawal hi paida nahi hota tha, but theater bhi he wasn't okay with. And I went into the education system. I am a coordinator at a school, and very early on, I remember I was in my 3rd year, and I started teaching very young girls, girls that were in their teenage, and there I realized that it wasn't just me, it was all of them. Now, all of these girls, and I am not exaggerating when I say, they had their upper arms stuck to their bodies in my first lesson, or उनका बिल्कुल उनको अंदाज़ा ही नहीं था, उनका जी ही नहीं चाहता था कि वो अपनी जिस्म से अपने बाजुओं को अलग करें, क्योंकि उनको इजाज़त नहीं है अपने बाजू अलग करने की अपनी जिस्म से। उनको एक सर्टन सर्कमफ्रेंस के बियॉन्ड अपनी बॉडी को इस्तेमाल करने की इजाज़त नहीं दी गई कभी। And I felt like it's so important for us as girls to claim that space for ourselves. For all of us, कि हम लोगों अगर हम कुछ कह रहे हैं तो हमारी आवाज़ एक डेसिबल से ऊपर हो सकती है. Me telling them this, me saying, hey, use your voice became a big deal because their parents would come and they would say कि ऐसे क्यों सिखाया हमारी बेटी को, क्यों कहा है अपने ऐसे कि ऊंचा बोलें या अपने जिस्म को स्प्रेड करें, आर्म्स को ऐसे स्प्रेड करें. ये इजाज़त नहीं दी जाती हमारी सोसाइटी में, बड़े कम लोगों को दी जाती है. एंड I feel very privileged that I was able to break out of those, all of these things that were being told to me, but it's not the case with everybody. And I feel as a whole, all of us, it's important that we start thinking about little girls like little girls, because you start looking at them like adults at a very, very young age, which is highly unfair to the poor child. After that, I started working on this. I made a little dance group. Some of them are here in the audience sitting, watching me speak. And I made it a point. I wanted that to be my life. I wanted, this is what I do. I dance and I teach dance. And बड़ी कम जगहों पे मुझे मौका मिला ये कहने का that hello, my name is Fatima Amjad and I am a dancer and I teach dance in Lahore. I was watching a film a couple of days back, and the final monologue of the lead was such where she says, entertaining you has been the greatest joy of my life. It is my life, it is my blood. And dear God, I truly hope I've earned the privilege of your time. And that's how I truly feel about Lahore. I truly feel about my people. My students here, they make a lot of fun of me. They say कि आप ऐसे कहती हैं कि my people, they don't say anything to me, even though you are really uncomfortable when you go to public places and you perform. Because I made it a point that I'm not going to confine my dancing, my stage, my theater to only auditoriums and limited, barred spaces. I wanted it to be out there. I want everybody to see it. They are entitled to their interpretation of it. It's perfectly fine. So I wanted to take my dance out of the theaters and take it to the streets. And I started doing that very recently. A year ago, I made my Instagram public. I finally took that public space. I fought with my father. I fought with my entire family. Then he fought with my entire family because, he had to do something about it. And now that it's everywhere, I go to the streets of Lahore. I go to Androon. I know they don't like it, but they don't hate it either. They don't say anything to me. अब उनको आदत हो गई है, कभी कोई आके ये नहीं कहता कि बंद करें, वो करने देते हैं. और मुझे लगता है कि ये मेरी ज़िंदगी की सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मैंने अपना जो काम है वो मैंने सिर्फ एक सर्टन काइंड ऑफ ऑडियंस को दिखाने के बारे में नहीं सोचा. मैं सबको दिखाना चाहती हूँ, एक एक इंसान को. हर एक इंसान लाहौर में जो है इस वक्त वो देखे कि असल में डांस होता क्या है और हम कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं, हमारी बात समझने की कोशिश करें. And to end this talk, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end it with the same line. ये करते हुए, if I perish, I perish. Thank you. Thank you so much.